Today we're talking about the DJI Mavic Air 2. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Brady here. So I bought the DJI Mavic Air 2, and today I'm going to tell you why I think it's the best drone money can buy. Before we jump into this, please hit that thumbs up button because it helps out the channel tremendously. So I bought this drone to replace my Mavic Pro. That was a great drone, but it was on its last leg. Like literally its last leg. It had one leg left. So I ended up choosing the Mavic Air 2 because out of all the other ones out there, I feel like this is the best one for the money. The Mavic Pro 2, just a little expensive for what it offered compared to this, and I just didn't see the point of spending the extra money to go with that over this. I actually did buy the Mavic Mini and ended up not liking it and returned it. And I did get the Fly More combo with this. It's just, that's what I did with my Mavic Pro 2. If I'm going to get a drone, I want the extra batteries, so I'm going to spend the extra 150 or whatever bucks to get the extra batteries. It comes with ND filters, it comes with a nice carry case, a bunch of extra propellers. So I think if you're going to get a drone, that's the way to go. Just get the Fly More combo. Even though most flights I do only use one battery, there are those times where you're going to want an extra battery. You'll get done with a flight and you'll be out of battery, and then if the sky really does something great, you're out of luck if you don't have another battery. So it's definitely good to have extra batteries. So on my way to fly this for its first flight, I ran into one issue that was quickly resolved. I did what every photographer does at times. I forgot my SD card. But thanks to this thing, this has internal storage. Now, I don't want to get into the habit of forgetting my SD card, obviously, but it's really nice to know that DJI gave this internal storage. I think it's only like 8 gigs, so you can't do a ton with it. So if I had my old Mavic Pro and I forgot my SD card, I'd be SOL. Huge props to DJI on that one. That was definitely a lifesaver for my first flight. Another huge improvement for me coming from the Mavic Pro was the new controller. On my old Mavic Pro controller, some people might have liked this. I hated this design. For my phone, I have the Samsung Notes, so they're a little bigger, and I had to jam it up in here, and getting the cord connected through here was such a hassle. With this new one, it's much more easy. I pop it up, and the wire just connects with nothing around it. So this is a lot better. One thing I would have liked to see is this a little smaller. It's pretty big. It's light, but it's a little bit chunky for what it is, I think. But that's definitely a big improvement. So setting up for my first flight, I just downloaded the DJI Fly app. You connect your drone and it's going to update for 10 minutes or so, like they all do. They have updates all the time. But after that, it was ready to go. And I took it to a lake I live near, and I was greeted with a fantastic sunrise. For its first flight, this was a perfect opportunity to get some video footage and some pictures. And overall, I think it turned out pretty good. I didn't get a ton of video footage because that 4K at 60 frames per second, it takes up quite a bit of storage. And like I said, I forgot my SD card. I was just working with the 8 gigs I had on board with this. And as far as picture quality goes, which is basically why I bought the drone, they are good. This offers 48 megapixel photos, and one thing to mention is when you're shooting 48 megapixel photos, after you take the picture, your drone kind of pauses for 2 to 3 seconds while it's writing that photo to the storage. I don't know if that's just with the onboard storage. I've only flown this once and I haven't even used the SD card, so I'm hoping when you're shooting 48 megapixel photos and you have a faster SD card like this one here, I hope it doesn't pause like that. I like to shoot HDR photos too, and with my old Mavic Pro I could, use the exposure compensation and underexpose and go all through and overexpose. But with this and that pause, I don't think you could do that. So I'm hoping when I pop that in, there'll be no lag. Also, with the 48 megapixel photos, I tend to underexpose my photos. It's just how I shoot. I underexpose and then I recover the shadows. And on this, I might have underexposed it a little too much because there's quite a bit of shadow noise in the pictures I got. Next time I fly this, I'm gonna mess around and take a bunch of different shots with using the exposure compensation and kind of find the drone's happy spot. And one thing I could not figure out, which I still haven't even figured out, I gotta Google it, is how to get this thing in portrait mode. Especially with this one photo I got, I would have liked to take that in portrait mode to get more of the sky in there and show the whole inlet going into the lake. I was going in the settings and everything. I could not figure out how to get this in portrait mode. My old DJI Mavic Pro had one little button right here, and all I had to do was hit that, and it would switch to portrait mode. This doesn't have that. I would definitely like to see that. And another thing is I even hit this function button, and it didn't offer it. So I guess as far as controllers go, is I like the usability of this one, but I wish it kind of offered more, especially for the size. I wish it offered more buttons, more functions right at your hands. But I mean, as far as drones go right now, I feel this is by far the best drone for the money. I mean, for under $1,000, you're getting a drone that's capable of taking tremendous pictures, 4K footage at 60 frames per second, which is pretty good. Like the Mavic Pro 2 only shoots it in 4K 30 frames, and it's a lot more expensive than this. And also, like I said, I've only flown this once, so there's a bunch more options I want to dig into and look at, especially that 8K hyperlapse. I want to find a place and do that. I'll probably do a video on that, and I want to test that out later. Yeah, as far as that goes, it's for the money. I think it's definitely the best drone out there. So if you're looking at purchasing a drone, definitely check this one out. I did a bunch of research, and like I said, I bought the DJI Mavic Mini, and I wouldn't even mess around with that. I mean, it's not going to handle wind good. It's the same designed controller as this, which if you like this controller, that's completely up to you, but I can't stand the design of that. But anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe. I'm definitely going to do a more in-depth review on this the more I use it. I mainly own a drone for fall time. Fall time is basically why I own a drone. It's the best time to fly it. I can get some great shots of it. So definitely looking forward to trying it out then. But yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Comment what you think, subscribe, hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next video.